Good afternoon. Welcome to Joy News Today. We are coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle. We are on DTT because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125. Joy News is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Coming up this afternoon, rape, murder and manslaughter cases in the Upper West region hang in the balance as members of the jury stage a walkout over unpaid allowances. Also this afternoon, barely 24 hours after balloting aspirants in the NPP flagbearer race, aspirants are yet to receive voters' album for Super Delegates Congress. We have more as Alan Tremantin postpones his Ashanti regional campaign tour, citing sensitive government and parliamentary businesses as the reason. Plus, we'll hear from aspirants who have started reading meanings into their position on the ballot. And students of the Adisadel College, at the heart of the violence captured in a viral video, have committed to be of good behavior following nationwide backlash over their conduct. That's according to Deputy Education Minister Reverend Fojo. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Joy News on TV. My personal handle is @Danana Aisha. Please stay for details. Many thanks for choosing us. Rape, murder and manslaughter cases in the Upper West region have been suspended after members of the jury there staged a walkout. They accused government of unfair treatment and have threatened not to return to the courts until their concerns are addressed. Rafiq Salam is our man in the Upper West region and he joins us live on phone. You've been interacting with spokespersons of the jury, Abdul Hakim Suleiman. What more has he been sharing? Hello, Rafiq. You've been interacting with a spokesperson for the jury, Abdul Suleiman. What has he been telling you? Hello, Rafiq. Kindly unmute. Unmute. Yes, go ahead, Rafiq.
Okay. What we have been told by this jury is that for the past 21 months, that's almost 2 years, they have not been paid their allowances. And so what transpired in court yesterday and today was that they were supposed to do certain, and they thought that they couldn't sit on that, and so they boycotted the proceedings. And so let's listen to Abdul Hakim Suleiman on the issue.
The government should expedite action in releasing funds to the judicial so that they can also fulfill their obligations, such as some of these things, and the panel and the jury members and other persons within the judicial system. So if they are able to do that, I think that will facilitate the speedy trial of some of these cases.
What's the impact of this delayed payment in your lives?
Yes, a lot of people coming from the communities, buying fuel day in and day out to attend court sittings, and they're not paying, is taking a toll on their finances. The little finances they have to use it to take means of transport to come to the court for court sittings. So it is no small thing that we are talking about. For 2 years, no money paid to us. And then yet, because of our dedication to duty, this is national duty. We don't want to be disrespectful to our citizens of Ghana. We have to oblige and then attend court sittings. So it's one of the reasons why we say, no, we can't continue to be doing this, and then they won't listen to us. For once, let's also act so that the authorities there will understand that, yes, we're also human beings working within the system, and then what is due us should be given to us, not actually privy to figures that are contained in those things.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We wish you all the best.
Thank you. Yeah.
So what appeal? Do you have any appeal?
Has there been any response from the Judicial Service, Rafiq?
I tried to speak to the administrator of the Judicial Service right here, and then he told me that plans are afoot to get them paid their allowances. And I asked when the timelines. He said there is no timeline. They have done what they are supposed to do, and so they're only waiting for payment from the head office from the Judicial Service. But let me also tell you that the impact of this boycott is having a toll on many cases. They're talking about rape, manslaughter, and also murder. So cases of such that were not able, and that clearly means that now that the cases are on Senegal, it will have a lot of impact on our society.
Rafiq Salam with that update from Wa. Now, 2 fishermen are said to have died at sea after a boat collided with their canoe. Initial reports cited Eastern Command of the Ghana Navy and even Marine Police, but in charge of night security at the canoe beach, Rasil Arafat Ali says the report he received indicates a boat belonging to Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority hit the canoe carrying 12 fishermen and capsizing in the process. The fishers had gone fishing as part of upcoming Homowo. Yasser Arafat says the incident has been reported to the police, who are investigating the matter. My colleague Kwame Yanka has been following this for us. He joins us with more. Kwame Yanka, what more do we know about this incident? All right, as we try to get Kwame Yanka, we're also hearing that the police is leading. Right, so Kwame Yanka is on the line. Kwame Yanka, tell us more about this incident.
Okay, so according to information we have been able to gather, it indicates that at about 4 a.m., roughly between 4 a.m. and then 4:30, some fishermen had gone to sea ahead of the Homowo Festival this year, and they happened to have come in contact with a tugboat, which initially they were describing as having belonged to Ghana Navy, but upon going further, they are saying that should be for Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. So, as it were, at least as at now, they are unable to establish whether indeed that was actually for Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. But the incident actually led to the death of 2 people who, as we speak, have been picked up for, to be preserved, let me put it that way, by the police. So we have also been speaking to some stakeholders in this case. We initially spoke to the one in charge of night operations at the canoe beach or canoe basin, the person of Yasser Arafat Ali, who tells us that the fishermen, numbering 12 victims in this incident, but then they happen to have been rescued by other fishers who were around, who only got to realize that 2 of them were so trapped under the capsized canoe, and these 2 unfortunately lost their lives. So we are still following this, but then to really unravel what led to the incident we're reporting on today, and then which tugboat or which vessel is really responsible for this. A Metropolitan Security Council meeting is underway by all stakeholders, by the Metropolitan Chief, led by Metropolitan Chief Executive, the Navy, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and other stakeholders within the Tema metropolitan area to really sit and then receive reports from all stakeholders, including the leadership of the fisher folk, to really see the way forward. And he's even saying that when corporates are identified in this very situation, well, they should be brought to book.
Amianka, we are hearing that the Tema Harbour, the Ports and Harbour Authority has refuted the claims. What have they been saying?
Okay, so I've been reaching, he's in charge of the fishing harbour in this case, in the person of Adisadel. He is saying that, yes, Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is in charge of this area. But then, because the fishermen or the fishers in this case are unable to identify the exact boat, because according to him, the description the victims are giving, that conflicts with what the Ghana Port, the boat or the vessels or the launch of Ghana Port and Harbours Authority. They are saying that it could be for another operative on the sea, and not necessarily Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, who should be held responsible for the death of these two fishers. So they would want to hold on at the appropriate time after the Metropolitan Security meeting, would respond in appropriate measure to clear the air and not to be more or less drawn to this case, which the authority is very far from.
Yanka is our correspondent in Tema. He's been following this for us. Meanwhile, fisher folk and residents alike, we're told, rushed to the basin after waking up to the sad news. Some couldn't help but shed tears. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has refuted the claims as reports from the fishermen regarding the exact boat that attacked them in conflicting and will respond in course. Meanwhile, the Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive Yvonne Ama-Ashiti is unhappy about the incident. According to him, a Metropolitan Security meeting is going to be held with relevant stakeholders to unravel the truth. First, let's listen to the chief fisherman.
Around 4:30, we had information that this dawn, there are fisher folks. Yes, the fisher folks went to the fishing. And unfortunately, they were hit by the Gapua launch. So it's not Navy? It's not Navy, it is Gapua launch.
How do you know?
I interviewed the fishermen. I'm in charge. They meet me before they meet everybody. So I asked them what happened, because we must know what happened. Unfortunately, they say...
But initially, did you also hear of the Navy?
Yes, of course, but it wasn't so, yes, of course. We thought it is a marine police too, because they are in charge of that. You understand, right? But when I confronted the fishermen, they told me they went to the fishing and they went to the up and cast one net. But unfortunately, they did not get fish. So they decided to come down and hunt from the down. So on their way going to the downside, and they saw the launch coming from up. So it's come to their direction. And immediately they get to them, they don't ask them anything. And they pass the little bit and they push up the launch. They push up the launch and they walk on them. So immediately they walk on them, the canoe capsized. So when the boat capsized, they leave them. So they start calling themselves. They call themselves, after the 2 months, they couldn't hear of them. So when they were able to turn the canoe, they capsized the canoe upside down, they found the 2 men in the canoe, locking by the nets, dead. That's all.
So what's the way forward now?
The way forward now, the issue has got to the police. So we were watching the police and see the other side of the story too, because they have told us at their own, but we never heard from Gapua. So we cannot conclude it as at now. So we were waiting the police investigation to be continued.
We can now listen to the Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive.
The committee to investigate this matter thoroughly and deeper. And after this, anybody found complicit in this matter will actually face the full rigors and the recommendation that will come from the committee. We at MESEC will not sleep over this. We will ensure that those who are involved, who didn't do well, are actually disciplined using the law. And we also put in measures to ensure that such an incident do not happen again, so far as the fisher folks are concerned here in Tema. No, like there are different accounts. One account mentioned security, one account mentioned DPH, different accounts. And I really want to get it from all of them so that we can understand clearly what happened. And once it's clear exactly what happened, then we can talk about it officially. For now, it's a little bit premature. If we have to see conflicting evidence that I have, I can assure you, right after the MESEC, I'll grant you an interview so that I can brief you properly on exactly what happened.
Okay, so what about the bereaved families?
Yeah, so from there we'll move to the bereaved families. We will commiserate with them. We'll let them understand that it's unfortunate, but we will not leave them to this. We'll be with them, we'll support them throughout all the entire process to make things a little bit easier for them. We know that will not bring them back. But what can we do? The issue has happened. We'll make sure those involved who didn't do are fully punished according to law, and then also we'll also be there to support them throughout the burial and everything, so that that load and that pressure do not come over there. So this is what we will do from a TMA's point of view.
Let's head to the central region where students of the Kwaku House of the Adisadel College, who are at the heart of the violence captured in a viral video, have committed to be of good behavior following nationwide backlash over their conduct. That's according to Deputy Education Minister Reverend Tema, who has been speaking to the students today. In the viral video, a bulkier student was seen strangulating and hitting the head of his mate against a metal bed frame in the dormitory. Investigations are underway whilst the culprit has been arrested by the police. Meanwhile, management of Adisadel College has recalled the victim of a viral video in which he was being strangulated by his colleague and later had his head hit on a metal wall. The student is currently undergoing medical treatment and psychological evaluation. Deputy Minister of Education John Tema has been familiarizing himself with happenings in that school today.
That you ought to learn from what has happened, you have received it, and you have taken your own personal decisions to do things differently in your own personal and individual capacity. Not just now a 17-year-old boy or an 18-year-old boy or 16-year-old boy student of Adisadel.
Correspondent Semefa Joyce Pesu has spent the day at Adisadel College following the minister's interaction with the students. He joins us via Zoom. Semefa, tell us how the day has been like as the minister visits the school.
Right, Asha. So the Deputy Minister, Reverend Tema, was here. He's just entered his car leaving. So he met with the students, the counselors who are tasked to take care of the psychosocial well-being of the students involved in the case. He spoke with them, including the students and the teaching staff of the school. Now, one of the things that he mentioned was the report about the suspect being arrested by the police as directed by the Attorney General. So he said their office or his office cannot speak on that issue and will not interfere with the arrangements and processes by the office of the Attorney General. So he didn't speak on that. And he also said the reports, both internal and external, are being concluded. So once they are done, they will come out with the report and it will be made public. So this has been the development so far.
The minister says that the students have given him their word to be of good behavior, right? Do we know about this commitment?
Yeah, sure. So he engaged the students earlier and tasked them to be of good behavior. He asked them to cease bringing phones to school, which was, I think, a major cause of this bullying issue. And he also admonished them to stay away from bullying and that he doesn't want to hear about any bullying reports never, ever again. And he also tasked them to produce one of the best results in the history of the school, that is talking about the WASI. So that has been the engagement with the students, and the student has assured him that they will be of good behavior.
So beyond the students' assurances, are there clear directives to school authorities on how things should be handled to prevent a repeat of what we saw in that viral video?
Yeah, so he tasked the school's management to ensure, both the teaching staff and the management, to ensure that students don't bring things that are not supposed to be brought to school, and they are made to obey the laid down rules that guards, the school, the students' behavior in the school. And he said they will be engaging with the school time to time for some time because of these incidents, to know how preparations have been, especially towards the WASI so far. They have a week to start the WASI. So that has been it for now.
Semefa Pesu with that update. Earlier spoke to Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, who gave a clear outline of how the matter should be handled to ensure the students are not affected psychologically as they prepare for their final examinations.
Will not help the students, except that I think that the students should not have access or reasonable access to the media so that they won't be distracted. So the public discourse, one, will not help them, and so we should try as much as possible to disconnect them from the media, social media, etc., so that they can concentrate. Second is that by now, I expect that the GES will have triggered its guidance and counseling systems at the regional level so that the necessary guidance provided to both the victim and the culprit. It's not likely the culprit will write the examination from the school. Of course, he's a candidate, so he writes it from million of YX and sentence, which is justified. But I think that the counseling they need should be provided same. And I'll be surprised if it hasn't been done by now, because GS has the necessary mechanisms to do just that. It is great that the minister has gone to the school to have first-hand information about this near-fatal incident. It has reached a national level of attention because even the AG's office is involved. And so I understand why the minister should be in the school. But I would have also wished that when 9 students drowned on their way from school, in Fana, in Wejagbawi, the minister would have visited those communities and those schools, because nine students drowned. They lost their lives. It was fatal, and they were only accessing education because they didn't have schools in their island communities. In Wejagbawi, right here, and we didn't see the minister go there. We actually wished and called for him to go there, but he didn't go there, And so I'm happy the minister is visiting the school because of the risk. Visited on one student in a senior high school. It shows concern for what happened there. It shows concern for discipline. It shows concern for the life of children, and it shows concern for the administration of the administration of discipline in the school.
Still on education, this afternoon, the minority in Parliament is warning that this year's WASSCE and BECE could be in limbo if government does not clear outstanding debt owed the examination body. According to minority spokesperson on education, Peter Nochukotoi, WAEC needs about 50 million cedis to clear its debt to examiners, supervisors and other service providers in the value chain. And without this payment, the exams this year may not come off.
But the challenge for WAEC now is government's inability to release funds to them to perform their functions. Those who worked for WAEC last year, 2022, in the conduct of the West African Secondary School Certificate examinations have not been paid the allowances due them. The supervisors, the invigilators, the examiners, and all other persons. So WAEC is unable to raise funds to meet their obligations. Last year, there was a deficit of about 83 million Ghana cedis, which government had to pay to WAEC. We had to talk before 50 million was released to them to enable them pay the examiners for 2021. Now, the examinations are about to start, or they have even started with the orals and practicals. And the WAEC is not having money to pay for last year's services. So we don't know what government is doing. And if care is not taken, the persons or the teachers who give us the service may not be ready to provide services again as supervisors and vigilators. And you and I know what will happen. So it is denting the image of WAEC internationally. If other countries are able to remit money to them regularly, I know of a country, a member country, that by the end of the first quarter, all the budget of WAEC is released to them for national and international examinations. Why can't we do same in Ghana? So this is the challenge WAEC is facing, and if we don't help them to get what is due them, I don't know how the exams for this year, that of the WASE and BECE, will be conducted.
Peter Nochukotoyin says WAEC is struggling and only a timely release of the funds from government will assure that the exams will come on.
For now, they need about 50 million to clear the previous year's arrears. Do you see it? Then what will be given for them to conduct the examinations for this year? You know, those who print their scripts for them, those who print answer booklets, they owe all of them. You see it? So if you don't pay, how would they provide those materials for you? Yeah, so my information is that government is struggling to give them some money by close of the week. And I cited information that is only 40 million. That may, I'm not very sure, will clear the arrears. But going forward, what do we do? Because I remember years ago when I was an examiner, we received our allowances on the day you hand over your marked scripts. But it is not the case now. So I think people are getting tired. People are losing interest in working for WAEC. And I think there's the need for government to back up and then solve the problem for WAEC.
As a committee, these monies are not paid. Are you going to do any intervention to make sure that these amounts are paid? Because this is a really serious issue. If WASE and BECE do not come off, or they do not come off in a way that has integrity, then it's a challenge for the education system.
Yes, last year,
the Ghana Education Service is urging parents to take interest in the early education of their children, as it is a foundation of a successful journey in their education. At a stakeholder sensitization program for the Tashkent Declaration on Early Childhood Education, a director of pre-tertiary at the Ministry of Education, Nana Bafwewa, underscored the importance of early education for children.
The Tashkent Declaration is an agreement signed by countries in Tashkent, Pakistan, that allows guiding principles focused on equitable and inclusive quality of early childhood care and education services for children, education personnel, policy, governance and finance towards early childhood. The stakeholder meeting is aimed at sensitizing stakeholders in the childhood education space on how to achieve the targets set forth by the agreement. The Director of Pre-Tertiary Education at the Ministry of Education, Nana Bafwewa, urged parents to take an interest in the early education of their wards and also indicated the need for specialized teachers for early childhood education.
Many of the parents don't even know. They think that, early childhood is not necessary, and for that matter, they prefer enrolling their children at the primary, lower primary. But you need to work on the early childhood child before you can move on to the primary, lower primary, as I used to say. To me, early childhood education opens the child up so that they will be, when they move to the primary, they will be ready for the mainstream education. And then we also need to train more special teachers for the early childhood.
The Director of Early Childhood Education at the Ghana Education Service, Vida Barbara Into, says it is very important that children's development are invested into to achieve the set target for 2030.
We are implementers, so we are implementing every bit of the policy that we've Ministry and GES have, and then also GES is in support with development partners and NGOs to develop activities, manuals for training teachers, going for monitoring, and then training the head teachers to mentor and then coach the teachers in the classroom. So we are doing a lot just that we need more supporters, more NGOs, more development partners to come and then support the early childhood education unit so that we can have it right.
Amasewa Nikwe Tete is the Secretary General of the Ghana Commission of UNESCO, one of the organizing partners of the forum.
In Ghana, our education formally starts from 4 years, and so we have 2 years of pre-primary education. What happens to the child between 0 and 4 is largely the parents' responsibility, but a lot of the key social skills that we will require in life begin to be developed there, and so parents should also play their part. You know the popular saying that it takes a village to raise a child. The entire society, some children are left with grandparents and aunties, etc., have a role to play. There are also creches, nursery schools, as it were, in the country, and we are working towards formalizing them, ensuring that the teachers are well trained, understand the area, the sector, and how to ensure that children receive the best education at the early childhood stage as possible.
The stakeholder conference was on the theme, The Ghana Story, Contextualizing Early Childhood Education Tashkent Declaration and Commitment. Prince Kwame Kuduga's report read to you.
Play the montage. Flagbearer aspirants in the governing NPP are yet to receive the photo album that will be used to conduct the Super Delegates Congress on August 26. This is contrary to the early announcement by the party that the election committee will furnish aspirants with the delegates register a month before the elections. But some of the aspirants say they are yet to receive it after the balloting yesterday. We'll hear from some of them shortly. Right now, there's a lot of buzz around the positions of the various candidates. Those positions on the ballot are often assigned either spiritual or numerological meanings by aspirants to convey the campaign messages and create signposts in the minds of voters. The upcoming Super Delegates Congress of the NPP is no exception as aspirants scramble to secure a spot in the final 5 contenders. Let's take a closer look at the meanings behind some of the positions on the ballot. Samuel Mbura has more.
Kennedy Japan holds the #1 position on the ballot. While he's yet to reveal the interpretation of his placement, we can expect an intriguing explanation soon. Alan Tremantin, contesting the elections for the 3rd time, occupies the #2 spot. Catherine Afriku, a member of his campaign team, explains that the #2 position represents a fresh start and a chance for Alan to secure victory.
For us in the campaign headquarters, he's ready in the spiritual realm to be the next to lead. #2 means you're going to 1.
Moving on to #3 position, spokesperson Abdul Majid Adam of Joe Gatti's team claims that it symbolizes the Trinity, signifying a powerful force that will break barriers for the party.
#3 is very significant. Islamically, it is representing Shafiri the Witri, that is what Shafir will whistle. And in Christianity, it represents the Trinity, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Energy consultant Kojo Poku at #4 is yet to communicate the meaning behind his position. However, former Agric Minister Dr. Afriyakoto believes that his #5 spot signifies a special omen of victory.
An elderly man called and said, "Are you aware that 5 stands for God's grace?" If you look at the Bible and ask scholars, they will tell you #5 in the Bible stands for God's grace.
The former General Secretary of the NPP, Kobina J. Japan, placed at #6, believes that the election is not solely about the number on the ballot, but rather the message conveyed to the voters. Echoing this sentiment is former MP for Mampong, Francis Adainimo, who is #7 on the ballot. On the other hand, Dr. Konedu Apreko, a contender for the 3rd time, is convinced that his #8 position represents the party's slogan of breaking the 8. Obrin Cancer speaks for his campaign team.
Because MPP wants to break 8. And if you are #8, it gives you a sense that breaking the 8 with #8, it makes your campaign message easier.
Former Energy Minister Boache Jako, holding the #9 position, is still contemplating the meaning behind his placement. Meanwhile, The campaign team of Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia acknowledges the strategic nature of their number 10 position. However, they emphasize that the aspirants' messages are what truly matter in the end. Nana Kumia is spokesperson for the campaign team.
It affords us better visibility so that our supporters can easily identify that location. You know, like we say, Asieho, or if you are number one, Esroho. The team really doesn't place much value on whichever position because the Bawumia brand itself is very strong.
If you just joined us, we're live on Joy News today. We're coming to you from our studios in Kokomlemle. We're on the Fanofa Street. When we return, there is more we'll be bringing your way from the world of business.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the business segment on Joy News today with me, Pius Kojobaka. Government's technical and vocational education and training initiative should be more practical to support the creation of jobs. This is according to the president of the Kimbu Old Students Association, Engineer Joseph Odai. He says the initiative should be designed to contribute to the development of a productive workforce by linking the education system to the needs of the economy. Mr. Odai spoke to Joy Business at the press launch of the 150th anniversary celebration of the Kimbu Senior High Technical School.
School said its historic milestone represents the educational excellence, resilience and transformative impact on the lives of countless students. Engineer Odai called for more investment for the TVET initiative.
When we were here in the 80s, we had a lot of workshops taking care of woodwork, metalwork, electrical installation and things like that. And I think this has really gone down. But with the introduction of the TVET concept, we are hoping that the country will leapfrog and ensure that our technical education becomes more hands-on, where students, after completing even the secondary schools, will be able to fit themselves into society and start working with their hands with improved skills.
Chairman for the governing board of the school, John Mensah Anand, said nurturing young minds to excel should be a priority for most corporate institutions.
From this time going, the board will ensure that the staff of this school focus on this so that all children or all learners who have the opportunity of coming to this school, we expect that their competencies will be updated with precision.
On her part, headmistress for the school, Sylvia Maunyo Lechate, called on President Akufo-Addo to reach out to her alma mater.
Yeah, Mr. President, you were once here. We invite you to come and support your school. This is your alma mater. We are pleading that come and support the school so that it will be a model school for the Ghana and the nation Ghana.
The 150 years anniversary celebration is under the theme Equipping Our Future Leaders with the 21st Century Skills, the roles of the stakeholders.
That's it for business for now. I am Pius Kojobaka. Will be here with more business stories on top of the hour.
Muftar Nabila Abdullah here with sports on Joy News today. Veteran sports commentator Joe Latte Sr. has advised the leadership of the Ghana Football Association to eschew loathing in the governance of football. Speaking in a yet-to-be televised Prime Tech interview, the Venerable Olate noted that politics and desire for money have negatively impacted the growth of Ghana's football.
Well, they have to clean their heads. I intend visiting sooner than later. I intend visiting the present head of football.
Ket.
With his name is
Keto
Fluku. I want to visit him. And then we have a little chat. Maybe the little experience that I have, a little, I just give it to him. If he takes it, okay. If he doesn't, he is right there. You know, I intend doing that.
When you say they have to clean their heads, what does it mean?
Yeah, they should remove prejudice, they should remove hatred, they should remove unnecessary competition, they should, anything negative should be out of their heads. Let them think about football and Ghana, and let them say to themselves, we are here to make Ghana great. in football, and it will happen. Let them develop positive thinking all the time. They should completely banish the things that have destroyed many things in Ghana today.
And i.e. the politics, isn't it?
Yeah, the politics. Politics is becoming the...
Football too is becoming very political.
It has already become political. Everybody is interested in football. People are making money out of it, except the old auntie. I never made money out of it.
Oh, you didn't make money in football?
Oh, no, I didn't.
What happened?
My mother told me a good name is better than riches. And I have stuck to that till now. Whether it's good or not, you ask me, I'll tell you.
You never made football money in football?
No. What my approach to life generally, including football, is not to struggle for money at all costs. No. It leads to trouble. So I am as I am, simple man. I have many friends. You know, I was fighting union government with President Nana Akufo-Addo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were together. We were there fighting against union government. We wanted pure civilian democratic setup, and it has paid.
He's my guest on the next episode of Prime Take. Do join us tomorrow at 7:10 a.m. on this channel as we speak to the 96-year-old who's giving us the history of Ghana's football, including his personal life story. Now, let's talk some athletics now. And Team Ghana are expected to camp in France next month ahead of the World Championships in Budapest, which starts on August 19. Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Athletics, Ba Ofusene, believes camping in the European country will help improve the athletes ahead of the Games.
A young athlete that went to US about 6 7 months ago are doing incredibly well. That are giving it a lot of hope. That giving it a lot of confidence that going forward, this athlete will do well. Something that we're just missing in our preparation toward these bigger competitions, that is the period, few weeks period to the major competition. We always have problems of camping these athletes for them to be able to at least practice the 400 to get the bottom etching perfectly done. But this time around, thank God that we have an agreement with French embassy through the French government that they have agreed, and even we almost finished all the process of sending our national team to camp in Paris for at least 2 weeks, fully sponsored by French embassy in Ghana here, which I would like to use your medium to express our profound gratitude on behalf of the President of Ghana Athletics and the Executive Board, the NSA and the Ministry, that we are so grateful to the French embassy in Ghana, vis-a-vis to the French government, through the French Athletics Association, for giving us the opportunity to camp our athletes in Paris for starting from the 5th to the 16th of next month, to just give our athletes the best preparation we can get at this moment, at least to practice the 400. That has been our biggest problem going into major competitions like World Championship. So I believe, and I think almost all the executive board, including Prof. Andrew and others, also believe that this opportunity will give our athletes a bigger step forward going into the championship like this World Championship.
That's sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. Now, gospel musician Ohima Mercy has expressed how she felt after seeing her ex-husband Chumampo at the launch of the 10th edition of her Taila Experience event. The singer disclosed that she initially didn't know he was present because of the number of people at the event. She said this in an interview on Joy Prime's morning show, Prime Morning.
Saw a man that you said, yes, I actually ask you. It was taken by storm. I mean, everybody was surprised. 10 years, and this is happening. People are wondering. What do you?
For me, it was actually a surprise to me as well, because my firstborn was actually given a tax. I'm actually pushing him into the ministerial tax. Okay. So I gave him a tax, and then he actually went to the father to ask him about what he should do. And then the father came with him. And for me, celebrating 10 years, he's been one of the instruments that God has used for over 7 years, and actually recognizing his input into what he has done was actually worth it.
So you didn't know he was coming there?
No, I didn't know he was actually
a surprise. And he was wearing a T-shirt as well.
Of course, when he was coming there, he took one of the T-shirts from the son and was wearing it. And for me, it was amazing. He actually did well.
So is he part of the planning process? Is he part of the organization?
Oh, for him, sharing ideas is not once, it's not twice. He's been actually putting in all ideas. So
how did you feel when you saw him?
So fulfilling. And for me to see my son applauding, it was something else for me.
That's fantastic.
Meanwhile, Isaac Chumampofo has described the Hila experience as a powerful event and shares he's excited to see it grow.
What do you make of the whole journey and till today?
It's very refreshing and reflecting on how it all started. It just come to me as a joy and an excitement to see the 10 years of, if it's a human being, this is the 10th year of a baby that was born 10 years ago, and it's exciting to see it grow to this extent. It is God's altar. It's not for any human being, it's God's altar. And for some of us, it's been a privilege to have been there for the inception of this great vision. I believe that it has a journey it's embarking on, and at every step of the journey, God has something new to do. And we're expecting that on the 10th year, God is about starting something new. And I believe it's going to show in all the preparation and on the night of the experience. I'm expectant of what God is about to do. You can't predict what God will do, but what I believe is that, and what I believe in is what I've seen happening over the years with Tahila. Testimonies, breakthroughs coming forth. Had my own testimonies over the years, and I believe that this year is not going to be different, but it's going to be more, especially when we are going to converge in one auditorium in that numbers and sing like the angels are doing in heaven. We're going to have that experience, the heavenly experience in that auditorium, and I'm so excited about it and can't wait to see the event come up.
Well, I know that you've been here for a very long time. You've been part of it. Which one would you say that is your favorite of all the?
My favorite was the 2019 edition.
Okay.
The 2019 edition. Yes, that was something else. I have a lot of encounters from that particular program, right from its planning to the D-Day itself and the aftermath of it. I can confidently say that is one of the programs we had lots of amazing testimonies coming out from. And that was also one of the editions that the beginning of it was so rough, and we didn't even know whether we are going forward or we are postponing it for another year. But amazingly, I don't know what came over me. I just told everybody we are going to do it, and God did it.
On that note, we end Showbiz here on Joy News. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. Also on myjoyonline.com/entertainment. Good afternoon to you, Aisha.
Good afternoon to you, beautiful Becky. Definitely log on to myjoyonline.com. You'll find news and updates of all the developing stories. That'll be it for the bulletin. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Do enjoy the rest of our program.